So, welcome back. As we discussed that in this lecture we talk about the stereoscopy. Okay. Let us move ahead. So, stereoscopy, the word stereo, which most of you are familiar with, okay, is for the stereo, that is the sound. Okay. So, you basically use the stereo, the word originates from Greek and means related to space actually. Okay. So, it is related to space, and today when we talk about the stereo, we usually refer to the stereophonic sound. Okay. So, we are most interested in having the stereophonic sound in our TV room or maybe in our car and all that. Okay. So, originally the term was associated with the stereoscopic pictures which were either drawn or photographed. So, in order to avoid confusion with stereophonic sound, one now often talks about 3D pictures. Okay. So, 3D pictures are the same, what we are using are the stereoscopic pictures. Okay. They are the same, and especially 3D films, where 3D of course stands for 3 dimension. A person lives in a 3 dimensional world, subtle environment. Without feeling for space, we cannot move within it actually. So, we need to understand the perception of any object or the terrain, otherwise we will not be able to move anywhere. Okay. So, our perception of space is created almost exclusively by our eyes. If you are viewing the terrain by one eye, then you will have some issues in understanding the distance, in understanding the depth of the terrain and all that. Okay. And you may lead to some miscalculations. Okay. So, there are many ways to orient on oneself in space, example by perspective, graduation of color, contrast and the movement. Okay. So, in our surrounding, we will experience all this. Okay. So, this is what is extremely important, that whatever we are viewing everything in 3D actually with our 2 eye. Okay. Now, stereoscopic photos are mainly what we are viewing from our 2 eyes. Okay. And when you view the same object on the photograph by your 2 eye, that is from your left eye and the right eye, you will be generating a pseudo stereographic model in your brain. Okay. That will give you the 3 dimensional view of the object. So, a pair of stereographic photographs or images can be viewed stereographically by looking at the left image with the left eye and the right image by the right eye. So, you cannot cross it. So, you need to, and that will be your divide here. Okay. That is your nose. Okay. So, in a stereographic projection, or this, when you are using stereograph or stereoscope, you are viewing the 2 photographs of the same area with the different eye. So, right image with right eye and left image with left eye. This is the process which is known as stereoscopy. The eye base and the photo base must be parallel in order to view at a stereographic or stereoscopic model. And that should be parallel. You cannot have the oblique eye and try to see the image. So, the lenses of the human eye project two slightly different picture onto the retinas, which are then transformed by the brain in a septual representation. The actual stereographic septual observation is a result of their perception through both eyes, okay, and that will give you the amount of understanding that which area is low, which area is higher, okay, that will give you the depth perception. For example, if you view this two photographs of the same object with your right image with your right eye and left image with your left eye, I am sure that you will be able to generate the three-dimensional picture of this. So, you may try on your screens viewing this photographs of the same object and try to view the image in 3 dimension, okay. But make sure that you view the right image by right eye and left image by left eye. If you will cross this, you will not be able to generate the 3-dimensional view. This what I was talking about, that even you can use a simple, the previous image was also taken by a simple SLR camera. This is an oblique photograph which I took in 2001 from the aircraft, okay. This is from Kutch area. Again, if you look at, there is an overlap between these two photographs, and if you try to look at with left image with the left eye and right image with the right eye, you will be able to generate the 3 dimension of this terrain, okay. The common objects or the here is one is this one here, you can easily make out, or here, and then this hill, okay, hilltop, you can see this one here, this one is here, okay. These are the two photographs which were taken by the same camera, but at different angle. So, advantage of stereoscopy has an ability to extract 3-dimensional information. Example, classification between elevation difference that you can do with the stereographic images, tall trees or you are having low trees, this is just an example, but any terrain whether it is higher or having low elevation you will be able to make out. Even the buildings you will be able to make out whether they are the buildings are taller or shorter. Then terrestrial features such as height of the terraces, these are the landforms which are associated with river valleys. Then slope gradient also you will be able to make out. It will be easier to make out the correct slope gradient if you are having vertical photographs. Detailed geomorphology in flat plains or any terrain, okay. So, geomorphology is the morphology of the surface you are looking at. Depth of geological layers or geological strata you can easily make out with the stereographic images, okay, or the photographs. Now, type of stereoscopes, if you look at, we are having a smaller one, that is we term this as an pocket stereoscopes, which we will be showing in demo when we are doing labs. So, 2 lens and mirror stereoscope we are having. So, one is lens and another is mirror stereoscope. So, lens or the pocket stereoscope, here what we are having is that we have plano-convex lenses which are mounted on a simple frame supported by a shorter legs, okay. This portion you can move, okay, depending on the your eye base distance, okay, because not all will have same eye base, okay. So, you can move this. The important part is that this allows your eyes to be focused to the on the photograph through this lens only. Okay. So, the area is restricted, so you will not be able to view this side. So, you are forced to view the photograph. So, you will be able to focus here, you will be able to focus here and try to see the image in 3 dimension. They are adjustable, that is what I was talking about, that this portion is adjustable. Lens separation can be changed to correspond with the eye base of individual viewer. So, another one is mirror stereoscope. Now, here we have again there are 2 mirrors which are mounted here. So, it consists of 2 mirrors fixed at an angle of 45 degrees, okay, supported by or supported on 4 legs, and at the eyepiece 2 prisms. Okay. So, here which has not been seen, but you can we will try to show you in the when we are doing lab, that there are 2 prisms which are mounted close to the eyepiece, and these 2 prisms or small mirrors are fixed again at an angle of 45 degrees. Okay. So, this are viewed here, this photographs, and then they are transferred to the prism, and through prism you will be able to view the terrain here. Now, advantage of this is that you will be able to view larger area. Okay. So, one can view the terrain in wider perspective using different lenses. Okay. So, this you can change. So, the eyepiece you can change depending on your requirement, and you can have the terrain enlarged and viewed. Okay. It helps in carrying out reconnaissance work, viewing complete terrain, identification of the area of interest. So, first you can use the low resolution lenses or the eyepiece and try to see the complete area exposed on the photograph, and then after having your area of interest you can change the eyepieces. Okay. And another important thing which has been shown here, this is your what we term this as an parallax bar. Okay. So, this again we will be doing in the lab. This will help us in identifying or measuring the height of the objects. Okay. This will be doing in the lab part. So, information can be transferred on tracing paper. Okay. So, this is another advantage, that you can put a tracing sheet on this and transfer your information, that is you can draw or the terrain you can identify and extract the information on your tracing sheets. So, this is what we call the conventional technique, viewing the satellite photos or aerial photos having stereographic images, and you can see the area in 3 dimension. So, this I think we have completed, but if not then we will just look at. So, procedure for aerial photograph interpretation: select the overlap of the area on the photographs, locate the principal point and mark on each photos corresponding principal point of the other. This we have already done, but I will just quickly look at. So, this will help also in identifying your line of flight. So, draw a straight line across each photo passing through the principal point, place the photograph on the disk one overlapping other with about 2 inches between the corresponding images. Okay. This is important. Okay. Using a straight edge or the scale, adjust the center line to a common control point. Okay. Place the stereoscope over the photograph, look at the photos, and if necessary rotate the stereoscope until a single line is seen actually. So, this is another way you can do it to focus or to view the correct position of any object or the landform through stereoscope. So, either you can rotate the stereoscope or you can rotate the photograph. Okay. So, if the stereoscope vision is not obtained, slowly slide one of the photograph in or out along the established line. So, once you have drawn the line or you have established the line, along that only you can move in and out and try to match. This is basically what we are doing, we are removing the parallax. Okay. So, we are overlapping one object with the another one. Okay. So, for example, you have your eye here, for example, I am just trying to explain, and then you are viewing the photograph here, another photograph is here, and you are trying to view, for example, this image here, the object, and another one here. Okay. But you are unable to see, because you need to generate the 3D, you need to see this image and this object and this object at the same time. So, sometime, for example, your photograph is not exactly in the same line, okay, and this object is sitting somewhere here, then you won't be able to view this. Okay. So, try to bring this along the same line here. Okay. So, in that case, what you have done, you will move this photograph down. Okay. So, adjust it as well as bring in and out, so that you can be able to view the same object by different eyes on different photographs. Okay. So, that will help you in viewing the terrain in 3 dimension, otherwise it will be difficult. Okay. So, stereo photograph geometry, if we take, we have principal point, this we have already talked about how to identify using the fiducial marks. Okay. So, this is another exercise which is important and can help you in identifying the line of flight as well as orienting your photograph properly. So, once you have obtained the line of flight, now you will be able to view the terrain or the object in a proper way. There is another one which you can practice, what we call sausage exercise. So, what you have to do is that you take any finger, the same finger of both the hands, okay, and try to bring closer to one another, viewing the same method you have to follow. View this with your right eye, view this with your left eye, and then time will come when this two overlaps, this will not touch each other, but you will be able to generate an image at the center here, which you will be able to see that they are hanging in air, okay, and that is your overlap. Okay. So, similar thing you can do for your photograph when you are putting it on the table. So, this is something like this. Okay. You start viewing this, bringing closer to one another, and the time will come you will be able to see that one finger is going into another one, and then in between you will have an object floating, that is your sausage effect. Okay. So, that you are able to view the portion in 3D. Okay. So, in the center you will find, that is what I was showing here, you will find that this area is hanging in the air, okay, and you are having an image which has been formed in your brain without touching the two fingers, okay. So, keep trying this, and we will continue in the next lecture, discuss more about this on the. Thank you so much.